remember when Mitch McConnell and his wife's husband had all that cocaine on that Taiwanese ship?
North Korea, after a presidential election, the other side, like always, wins. And I've told you, you've heard the story. Because people become complacent. You had a victory.
The guy he's campaigning for in Pennsylvania, he actually talks bad about him behind his back. But that's Reagan's rule, right? You never talk ill about any Republicans. He won big in this district, and yet the Rick Saccone or whoever, he doesn't like the guy, right? He makes a comment about president for life. He is a dictator. He is increasing fascism. Of course he is. He read Mein Kampf, these rallies.
We have to go after the drug companies. We have to. We have no choice. We have to go after the drug companies. We have no choice.
He goes ahead and brags about the 1% polluter tax cut, which only goes to the 1%. It doesn't go for the majority of Americans. Miss Priss, they said, he goes, you remember how that tax cut was implemented? And she just started clapping crazily. Yeah, right, because Miss Priss understands. Miss Priss was paying attention. Yeah, she knows how the polluter tax cut was implemented. Of course she does. She also understands the steel industry, and she knows that Maxine Waters is a piece of crap. Who knows why Donald don't like her? She is black, right? So whenever he says anything racialist, that fans the flames for all the racists to stand up, right? He ran as a Reform Party candidate. Lie. You sat there and said you didn't run for president before, and you ran against David Duke. You forgot about that, huh? I ran a couple. I don't remember. There was Royce Adams, and then there was Jack Conway. I remember the opposition. He don't remember the...
Obama was driving you down. You take a look at those numbers before we took over. They were heading down. So, we will impeach him. We will impeach the president.
These Trump rallies are very Hitler-esque in terms of propaganda. Hitler says the best propaganda is public speaking. And just pay attention, because you can actually change policies at these rallies. But he's going after it, right, the protesters. But if he says something, boo the shit out of him, and then he'll listen to it. But when you cheer like crazy people, right, every time you cheer, then he thinks he's on, he's on to something. And if you hear the dog whistles, he's definitely racialist. And he once mentioned Obama, and then everybody just started booing. And he wasn't even talking bad about Obama. He just said his name. That was
Donald Trump's family. My, we've come down a long way, haven't we? I'm now president, and probably, but think of it. I'm now president, and probably, but think of it. I'm now president, and probably, but...
Of Hitler and Mein Kampf, he says the best way to for propaganda to get your mass communication out, to get mass hysteria, is to do these public speaking. So he listens to the reactions of the crowd. And he says fake news, right? Whenever he says any of his little mottos or slogans and they go fucking crazy, he's just going to keep it up.
We had unanimous in the Republican Party, and unanimous for the Democrats. Could have done it. Obama could have done it. Obama had a chance. No. They're saying Obama.
Thing, the individual mandate. I like Obamacare because pre-existing conditions, insurance companies are throwing people off pre-existing conditions. Tomi Lahren, she gets to stay on her parents' health insurance. So that's Obamacare. The individual mandate, I never liked whatsoever, forcing everybody to buy it. If they would have made it a choice, I think they would have actually sold more, shares or whatever to the American people. He mentioned $34 million. There was some race where one representative or Senate race cost $34 million, and he was like, what's up with that? Excellent point. What the fuck is up with that type of shit? So, there's some interesting things that he says, but overall, the racist, when he's talking about African-American, the lowest unemployment rate, he had said in the campaign that 50% of black people weren't even working. So that's not the exact statistics. Youth, black, he made it sound like half of the black people aren't working. But now, when he started talking about executing drug dealers, Miss Priss didn't clap. Actually, none of those white women in the back were clapping.
Okay. Then I get up in the morning. Some time goes by. Right? Same people, they're saying, not that big a deal. Anybody could have.
So it's absolutely true. Donald Trump supporters, like 87% of them love him, while the other side absolutely hate him. We have never been more divided as a country since the Civil War. And I don't think it's actually too far to think that it could happen.
I'm now president, and probably, but In fact, my guys,
whenever he mentioned Obama, they're all, fucking frothing at the mouth. They can't control themselves. When mentioned Maxine Waters, they're all fucking pissed off about it. African Americans, they have low unemployment rate, which means, the blacks are working now, right? So they're cheering about that, right? The blacks, the traditional stereotype is that they're lazy, so they're going to get all excited about that like he got, right? 50% of them weren't working before, but now 95% of it, how did he do that? It wasn't like that. It was 95% beforehand, so they're just playing with the fucking numbers, and they're, stoking those racists. Guess what? 50% of black folks don't even have jobs, and it was youth, black youth. 16-year-old, 50% of the 16-year-olds don't have jobs, black 16-year-olds, probably because they're in fucking school. They haven't graduated yet. You say, well, you want them to drop out so you can help them with the unemployment, the youth, black youth unemployment numbers? So he's definitely fucking lying. It's
dollars as of 3 months ago, okay? You know what they did? That was like taking a big stone and throwing it into a hornet's nest. But we're bringing it back. ISIS, we have 98% of the caliphate of the land back. 98. Really nice. But
are they going to get in trouble? These are the drug dealers, or the drug dealers who supply Rush Limbaugh and the Donald Trumps of the world? They're going to get away with their fucking bullshit. So Miss Priss, she showed it. She understands drug policies, pushing for, the death penalty. She couldn't even, clapped over the dumbest stuff. Clapped over the steal. Clapped over the 1% tax cuts implementation. But when it came to executing people, the drug industry, Democrats, stand up against this shit. The 12 places where we've implemented alternatives like Colorado has succeeded. It's succeeded.
You elected your president. You like you, but you like me? I think so, right? I like you too. I love you. I love you. We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. Really nice. But with his dictatorial attitude, now wants to be president for life. Straight.
Do you like me? You like me, guys? And, of course, he needs, the stroke of the ego, which his crowds are, can't wait to do. Yes, Mein Führer. Yes, Mein Führer. We will get down on our knees and bow down to Mein Führer. Christians, right? I thought you were supposed to bow down to God, not to any man. So the racist crowd, it's clearly racist. I would lean on the side of him being racist, but it's close. I do agree with Omarosa. He is more racialist than outright overt racist, but he embraced Confederates. He embraced Nazis, right? The Confederates, which fought against the United States of America. The Nazis, which fought against the United States of America. I don't give a shit about that Russia shit. He's not a treasonous traitor because of that. He's a treasonous traitor because he embraces Nazis and Confederates.
We put an infrastructure bill in for $1.7 billion, and I hear they want to stop it. Is why we have to defeat Nancy Pelosi. We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. With his dictatorial attitude, now wants to be president for life. Straight. Really nice. But really nice. But
Donald Trump, the Republicans absolutely sucked under the Bushes. The Iraq war, when it come to trade, Reagan sucked at trade, Clinton and everybody, they sucked at North Korea. So he's shitting on all these past presidents, but he's right. The Republican, Ronald Reagan, sucked at trade. Fuck Ronald Reagan. I agree with you, Donald. Bush on the Iraq war. He lied 1,000 times, right? Remember, if you lie under oath, like perjury, you're supposed to get impeached. Unless you lie to the stupid American people. Only if you lie to an elite judge. That's the only time you'll get impeached. But if you lie to the stupid American people directly 1,000 times to go kill 1 million Iraqi people, no impeachment whatsoever. Nobody blinks an eye to that. Nobody seems to give a shit. Except for Donald. So I agree with you, Donald. The Iraq war was fucking bullshit. So you hypocritical Republicans, what happened? I thought you loved war. Now you're against it? Which is it? Make up your fucking...
What does that mean? That means if we catch a drug dealer, Death penalty. Kim Jong-un would like to meet with President Trump. No, this doesn't happen. You know, they're saying, oh, well, Obama could have done that. Trust me, he couldn't have done that. He wouldn't have done that. He would not have done it. And by the way, neither would Bush.
Even though Stormy Daniels might get paid here and there, Melania says, oh, yeah, instead of just fucking, instead of capitalizing on having sex here and there, is like, oh, you want to touch this? You want to touch this? Well, then you're going to have to marry me and give me your money and half of your wealth until the day that you die. And if you want me to hold your hand, fuck you. Get that weak shit. I'm not going to hold your goddamn hand. Why don't you hold your husband's hand there, Melania? So I like Stormy Daniels. I'm pulling for Stormy Daniels.
She's ready for it. But I think, Rick, it's a discussion that we have to start thinking about. So in Oakland, you have a mayor. And she...
Because he's a fascist. He is a fascist. Through and through. He says he can shoot and murder somebody. What, an innocent little baby on Fifth Avenue and that won't change? How come? Hey, Trump supporters, you're telling me he could kill what, an 8-year-old Nora in Yemen, an American girl? He's already killed a kid. He's killed lots of kids. 8-year-old Nora. Y'all got blood on your hands. You Trump supporters got blood.
Really? But, really? But, remember this. If somebody goes and shoots somebody or kills somebody, they go away for life, and they can even get the death penalty, right? One person. They shoot one person, they get the death penalty. They shoot one person, kill some person, knife one person, the person dies. They get maybe the death penalty or maybe life in prison, no parole, right? Really? But Kim Jong-un would like to meet with President Trump. No, this doesn't happen. You know, they're saying, oh, well, Obama could have done that. Trust me, he couldn't have done that. He wouldn't have done that. He would not have done it. And by the way, neither would Bush.
Because he's a fascist. He is a fascist. Through and through. He says he can shoot and murder somebody. What, an innocent little baby on Fifth Avenue and that won't change? How come? Hey, Trump supporters, you're telling me he could kill what, an 8-year-old Nora in Yemen, an American girl? He's already killed a kid. He's killed lots of kids. 8-year-old Nora. Y'all got blood on your hands. You Trump supporters got...
I'm now president and probably, but... Really? But...
Broadcast, he insults CNN right to their face. He says, CNN never shows the crowds. They only show me, so you never see the size of the crowds. And that's, just one little quick turn. You could do that in the very beginning, so he's right.
We put an infrastructure bill in for $1.7 billion, and I hear they want to stop it.
And it's just weird when they're doing it. Why don't they just pan the crowd right then and there? So, call his ass out. Call his ass out immediately. And they never show the crowds. Pow! There's the crowds. You just called them out. So I don't know why they let him, essentially beat up on them, and they don't even, why don't you get some integrity? Mass media, you do suck. You don't fucking tell the truth. Only Al Jazeera, Russia Today, Young Turks. These are the only people I trust.
So, I've never done this before. I ran for president. I never did it before. So, we will impeach him. We will impeach the president. We put an infrastructure bill in for $1.7 billion, and I hear they want to stop it. Can you imagine covering Bernie or Pocahontas? Pocahontas, how about that?
And, I don't even know if I trust the videotape. So the mainstream media, I know they can get everybody, whipped up into a frenzy. It's how they got us, gun control right now, but it's the same way they got us into the Iraq war. So if the media did pay attention to, say, poverty.
Okay? A drug dealer will kill 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people during the course of his or her life. So, I've never done this before. I ran for president. I never did it before. Really? But,
I'm president now, but what? What would that be the exception? Yeah, you're the president, but you suck and you don't want to fucking do it? It was all about your ratings and getting another apprenticeship. He's talking about build a wall, build a wall. So he spits out these racialist things Can building a wall be not racist? Yeah, if you're putting one on the Canadian border, but he's only, that's where the 9/11 terrorists came from. But as soon as he talks about build a wall, or that's when the audience goes crazy and talks about building a wall, it's xenophobia. He is spreading xenophobia. The Obama thing, when they go, USA, USA, xenophobia, xenophobia, kill the Jews, kill the Muslims. Yeah, I can hear it. It's right around the damn corner. He wants to attack chain migration. Oh, yeah, once he gets himself a Slovenian wife, then now chain migration. Her parents can come, but nobody else is. Nobody else.
Can you imagine covering Bernie or Pocahontas? Pocahontas, how about that? And Maxine Waters, a very low IQ.
She was in one of those, I think, Judge Apatow, Seth Meyers movie. Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd had his face in Stormy Daniels' ass in one of, those movies. But I like Stormy Daniels better. I mean, Melania is more of a long-term prostitute, right? And she wants to appear sad and everybody's supposed to feel sorry for her. She chose that. She was a gold digger. She did, and that's what she's doing. So she gets an Einstein visa, which, how did Melania Trump get an Einstein visa? What is she, an Einstein at sucking dick? So she is basically a prostitute looking at the long term. She's a sophisticated prostitute.
Individual. You ever see her? You ever see her?
Stormy Daniels so much better. Stormy Daniels seems like a woman with integrity. Stormy Daniels, she, may have sex for money one time or, may sell her body in porn industry to make money making a film for, future generations.
And to all of the military out there, we respect you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And then you go, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
What I want to mention is Miss Priss.
You have to have her. Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters. The only chance
Are they potheads? Are they doing a bunch of drugs? Remember when Donald was sniffing at the debates? Is he buying a bunch of cocaine?
we will impeach him. We will impeach the president. Okay? A drug dealer will kill 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people during the course of his or her life. Individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? Individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? So, I've never done this before. I ran for president. I never did it before. Somebody said, I've been running for the Senate like 6 times. He said, you ran for president, you won. What happened is Pennsylvania, remember that night? So, we put an infrastructure bill in for $1.7 billion, and I hear they want to stop it. Thousands of people are killed, or their lives are destroyed, their families are destroyed. He got it. Look at those corners. Now, those cameras are never going to cover those corners. They're never going to cover the corner. They're never going to cover. They never show the crowds. They never like to show the crowd, ever. This is the party of saying, how about that? How about that? How about ICE? These ICE guys are tough as hell. They go in, and they're not playing games, I'm now president, and probably, but think of it. Really nice. But when I'm now president, and probably, but I'm now president, and probably, but I'm now president, and probably, but President Xi, president for life. That was another one. So he's president for life. It happened 2 days ago. And I was joking. I was at a roast, actually. But I was joking, and I said, president for life, that sounds good. Maybe we're going to have to try it. Maybe we're going to... President for life. But I'm joking. They want tax cuts, and honestly, the word reform, it could mean you're going to triple your taxes. We're going to reform taxes and triple. I said, nobody knows what it means. It could be really bad. The NRA happens to be very good people, by the way. They want to do the right thing. But they don't use guns. They don't use guns. They like to use knives and other things because it's much more painful, it's much slower, these are animals. And we send these guys out, and we liberate those towns. We liberate them. And we just can't pass. I said, well, what's the problem? Well, sir, the tax reform is not easy. I said, wait a minute. Do you call it tax reform? Or do you call it tax cuts? And he said, right? And he said, no, sir, we call it tax reform because we're doing a lot of reforming. I said, look, people don't know what reform means, neither do I. People want tax cuts. They don't know. They don't know. So, I've never done this before. I ran for president. I never did it before. Somebody said, I've been running for the Senate like 6 times. He said, you ran for president. You won. What happened is Pennsylvania, remember that night? So, okay. Then I get up in the morning. Some time goes by. Right? Same people. They're saying, not that big a deal. Anybody could have done it. Obama could have done it. Obama had a chance. No. They're saying, Obama was driving you down. You take a look at those numbers before we took over. They were heading down. So the toughest people you've ever seen, and they went out to Long Island, and they grabbed them by the neck, and they threw them into the patio. We're cleaning out. We're doing it. Call them blue ribbon councils, where we take Melania. Great first lady. She's great. It's funny. I don't know if you saw it, but we've had a problem for years with North Korea. In fact, President Obama said it was the biggest problem we had. Karen was down. She started off with a whole group of people. It's a little different voting. She had running for Congress in Atlanta, the Atlanta area, right? So they had a young guy, who spent $34 million, that's still the all-time world record, right? Running to be a congressman. They make $150,000 a year. He spent $34 million. There's something going on, right? So, I've never done this before. I ran for president. I never did it before. Somebody said, I've been running for the Senate like 6 times. He said, you ran for president. You won. What happened is Pennsylvania, remember that night? So, okay. Then I get up in the morning. Some time goes by. Right? Same people. They're saying, not that big a deal. Anybody could have done it. Obama could have done it. Obama had a chance. No. They're saying, Obama was driving you down. You take a look at those numbers before we took over. They were heading down. So, and by the way, that's not rich people. That's for everybody. I mean, you have your 401ks, which are up 42%, 38%. I tell it all the time. I take pictures back with the policemen. I love the policemen. I love the firemen. They're great. When we start running in, can you believe it, 2 years from now, Hillary wouldn't have liberated those towns. We liberate those towns. That is, came out this morning, that is the highest level of employment in the history of our country. 155 million. Think of that. And Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? So you can kill thousands of people and go to jail for 30 days. They catch a drug dealer. They don't even put him in jail. Think of it. You kill one person, you get the death penalty in many states. Or you get life imprisonment. Think of it. You kill 5,000 people with drugs because you're smuggling them in and you're making a lot of money and people are dying and they don't even put you in jail. They don't do anything. But you might get 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You might get a year. But you're not going to get, and then you wonder why we have a problem. You haven't seen that. I used to tell you that was going to happen, but now it's happening. But a problem, a lot of people can't qualify because of drugs. They're making tremendous progress. Today, I'm calling on Congress to stop funding sanctuary cities so we can save American lives. We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. Justice Gorsuch. Great. Look what we've done. Look what we've done. And you know what? We passed the biggest tax cut in the history of our country. Didn't get one Democrat vote. Didn't get one. And by the way, how good is that kicking in? Remember? Remember? The South Korean representatives who just left North Korea came outside, big throng of press. They announced that North Korea, Kim Jong-un, would like to meet with President Trump. They want tax cuts. And Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? It's getting close. We can't say make America great again because I already did that. Right? Right? So, right? Cut and jobs bill, which is nice. Which is nice. And we got it passed. So the Democrats are the party of sanctuary cities. Explain that one, right? They like to protect criminals. They like to protect MS-13. This is the party of, how about that? How about that? How about ICE? These ICE guys are tough as hell. They go in and they're not playing games, you know? We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. That's why we have a problem, folks. And I don't think we should play games. Now, I never did polling on that. I don't know if that's popular. Fake news. Fake. Fake. Horrible. But you know, we will impeach him. We will impeach the president. Okay. Then I get up in the morning, some time goes by. Right? Same people, they're saying, not that big a deal. Anybody could have done it. Obama could have done it. Obama had a chance. No. They're saying, Obama. Obama was driving you down. You take a look at those numbers before we took over. They were heading down. So, we will impeach him. We will impeach the president. And Maxine Waters, a very low IQ individual. You ever see her? You ever see her? We will impeach him. We will impeach the president. After a presidential election, the other side, like always, wins. And I've told you, you've heard the story. Because people become complacent. You had a victory.
These Trump rallies are very Hitler-esque in terms of propaganda. Hitler says the best propaganda is public speaking, and just pay attention because you can actually change policies at these rallies, but he's going after it, right, the protesters. But if he says something, boo the shit out of him, and then he'll listen to it. But when you cheer like crazy people, right, every time you cheer, then he thinks he's on, he's on to something. And if you hear the dog whistles, he's definitely racialist. And he once mentioned Obama, and then everybody just started booing. And he wasn't even talking bad about Obama. He just said his name.